Hello everyone, this is part 2 of a video I made about supplements and my thoughts on supplements, and I want to talk about supplements in the raw food world, the raw vegan world. And I would also like to say to you that I will be, for a short period of time, doing some one-to-one coaching, and then I'm going to be bringing that to an end, and I'll do some, because I want to go forward to do more group coaching and different things like that. So I'll put information below. I think if I remember to do that, I should put information below about coaching if you'd like one-to-one help from me in your journey to better health, I suppose. But here's what I want to talk about is supplements in the raw foods world. I already made a video where I explained that supplements are really the result of business dynamics. That's why supplements exist. That's why people buy them. That's why people sell them. They are a very good product for building a business around. If you are an entrepreneur and you want to build a business, supplements are a proven model for doing that. And in the health world, if you're passionate about helping people with their health, there's not that many things that you can sell to people, because a lot of the stuff that people need to do to get healthy are things that they need to do for themselves. And you're not going to sell bananas, because you can't really build a business out of bananas, because you're never going to be able to sell them cheap enough to compete. So why would anyone buy your bananas, you know? That might be an interesting challenge to you, but I wouldn't suggest that you try that. So instead what people do is they sell supplements. Whether they believe in those supplements being any good or not, people will buy them. And entrepreneurs don't really worry about whether what they're selling is something that is effective. They're concerned about, do people want to buy it? And if people want to buy it, then it's our job to provide that for them. And that's what they do. They just become a middleman of that service, of providing those products, and they can make a lot of money doing that. So supplements are a product that works really well within our current system and everything. But do people even take them? Do they work? Do they do anything? Of course not. People don't take them because people don't. You know, think about how many books you've bought that you didn't read. Like, people buy things all the time that they don't use, that they don't actually even do anything with. People buy big expensive saunas for the back of their house that they never go in. And those trampolines, those little trampolines that they never use, rebounders that they never use. What else? Like clothing that people don't wear, and like everything, food that people throw away. So there's an element of this all the time, and people buy supplements. Who's actually taking them? Who really takes them religiously and all that? Not many people, but they'll buy them for a period of time long enough for it to be worthwhile for the company to sell them and make a profit off. So it's just a business, and I really want you to get that point. Supplements is just a business. Now, is there those occasional times where they're medically offered and all that? But even then, it's a real rarity that people are offered supplement. The doctors supplement people. And even in those cases, it's often the fact, not that the person doesn't have enough of that in their diet, but their body isn't taking it in. So in the case of people that are iron anemic, some of those times people actually have enough iron in the diet, but their body isn't taking it in. And there can be reasons for that. So how often is supplementation a real thing or a real need? How often is it the actual answer? And I would suggest that often, or it probably rarely is the answer. When it comes to things like multivitamins and green powder products, these are really sold on the same kind of idea that this is something that is, you know, a health thing. Or like has some kind of medicinal value, whatever. And the same thing with herbs. It's the same psychology. So, I'm just at the traffic lights here. So it's all the same psychology that goes into these things being bought by lots and lots of people. And I'm sure many of you have bought herbs and supplements, and some of you continue to do so. Anyway, it's not the worst thing you can spend your money on, but they don't do anything. And the studies of these products have shown that they don't do anything. They don't improve people's health. They don't protect people's health. They don't protect people nutritionally. They don't protect from disease at all. At all. Any study on multivitamins has shown that. That's why the health authorities of the world continue to say, get your nutrition from food. Get your nutrition from food. Get your nutrition from food, not supplements. Over 80 years ago, no, 60, 70, 80 years ago, this stuff, the selling of supplements was being warned about. Essentially being warned about, or people were saying, where the government, the health authorities were coming out and saying, you're getting scammed by this story that the soil's deficient. And this story, it's a marketing story. It's not anything to do with evidence or health or whatever. It's a marketing story. And I can show you that. I can show you the evidence of that with a film going back 60 years. In the 1960s. No, what's that? Yeah, 60 years. Where they were already warned about this. But this is something that had been going on for decades before that. It's a business, everyone. So, in the raw foods world, the people that wanted to go out and teach about the raw food diet and bring groups of people together and create community and do all the things that we all kind of have a desire to do to some degree, they all realised that that was one of the ways forward with supplements. Now, some of them believed in it. Some of them would have been more cynical about it maybe, or just thought, this is something I'll do because it's going to make me money. But it is, whichever way you look at it, it is what it is. And so supplements have been a part of the raw foods world. Now, they're not as obviously a part of the raw foods world at the moment, actually. But they were it was much more like it was part of the thing. But it was maybe kind of transformed into superfoods and things like that, where it was suggested that these products, these superfoods, were really highly nutritionally concentrated and all that stuff. And people bought into all that because there's more fun and magic in that than the idea of the grueling day-to-day discipline of personal transformation. And who wants to do that? Why not get some magical supplements to do it all? So it's been a part of the raw foods world. Now, in the time that I've been in the raw vegan movement, one of the very first videos I ever saw that really inspired me towards this journey was Durian Rider. And one of the first videos I saw of him was talking about David Wolfe, and talking about David Wolfe selling essentially superfoods and I don't know if he was really selling supplements, but he was selling superfoods and products like that. And there was things on David Wolfe's website that were tinctures and different magical kind of sounding things. There were hundreds of pounds for like a very small amount of something. Hundreds and hundreds of pounds. And okay, not a lot of people would have bought that, but enough people would have bought these things once in a while for it to have all worked. So there was raw food websites that sold all these kind of really highly priced and magical sounding superfood products. And there was a story that went behind all these, that they were, you know, that there was some tribe that all lived to over 200 years old, and this is because they took this product, and it was the most highly concentrated source of this nutrient or that nutrient in the world. And so there's all these stories around it, right? So I was already kind of alerted to this fact that this was a part of the raw foods world, and I kind of have never really bought into any of that. I've never got into supplement, and it's a beautiful, like, you really want it to be true. You want it to be true. You're listening to the stories going, man, I wish this was true. I love this story. I really do. Like, I love the stories that they tell. But unfortunately, not a great deal of truth around it, and a waste of time for your health, really. I'm here at the gym. I'm about to go in. So at Woodstock Fruit Festival and other fruit festival events, supplements have never really been sold, never really been part of it at all, as far as I've seen. Supplements have not played a big role in any of these events. And most of the influencers that I've known in the raw vegan, and especially the fruit-based side and the 80-10-10 side, haven't really ever sold supplements, haven't developed their own supplements, as far as I know. I think Fully Raw Christina might have promoted certain things, protein things, raw vegan protein powders or something like that. So she might have done that, and maybe there's some others that have done that. But largely I've not really seen that be the case. And certainly this movement has always been about getting your food from nutrition. But what I did start to see was certain people that were promoting the same story coming up again. The soil's deficient, you can't trust the farmers, it's all for profit and all that, and therefore there's not enough nutrition in the food, and if you're failing on raw, it could be because you're not getting the nutrition that you need. And so so I started to hear this thing about Daily Green Boost. For some reason, Daily Green Boost started to get touted, and it's just another green powder product, like every other green powder product in the world, that has no effect on your health. It tastes, it's got a strong flavour, but it has zero effect on improving your health or securing your nutrition. Nothing. No evidence for that whatsoever. But it gets sold as if this has somehow got more nutrients in it. And people like Doug Graham and others would talk about why that's not the case and why that couldn't be the case and everything. So gradually, Daily Green Boost was like at the Woodstock Fruit Festival, and they had it on the tables, and it was like started to be this thing, and that really bothered me. That's why I had that T-shirt made, and I've been so against it. I've been so against this whole scene being sullied by this fake nonsense and by this thing. But here's the thing, people want to buy it. It doesn't matter what I say. I know some of you are going to go out and buy it because you've heard it in this video, and you can't help yourselves. And some of you will go and do a 40-day water fast, even though I would suggest not to do that. And some of you will believe in the idea that you've got mucoid plaque in you. All of that's not good ideas. But I can't stop. But they're very compelling, naturally compelling things. And because the alternative is for you to take responsibility of your health every day, to make little changes over time, to make those improvements and stay focused, and that's boring. That's long term. That has actual real value. Like, I don't want things that have actual real value. I want quick fix. And unfortunately, people are really addicted to the quick fix. And supplements are another quick fix, but people buy them and don't even take them. So many of you will have a big jar of supplement stuff, or a big canister of supplement or whatever, that you've never taken, that you don't take, that you don't use. But it's something you want to buy. You know, I can understand that. So in the raw foods world, things like Daily Green, because people have fallen in for this. And it's really dangerous. If you're a coach or someone out there, it's really dangerous for you to take people down a road of finding out if they're deficient in something. That's dangerous. You guys don't even know how dangerous that is. You're so ignorant. You're so green, immature, lacking in wisdom. So you think it's good to tell people, go and get your blood tested, go and find out if you're deficient in something. You think that's a smart idea. That's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea for most people who are perfectly healthy and have no particular symptoms or problems. Going out and getting their blood tested and making up their own conclusions, and having a health coach who's not qualified making up conclusions about what they should do as a result of that blood test is so dangerous that you don't understand. And that's why a lot of you come into my comments and you're saying you should get tested for this, you should get tested for that. And you think that's a supportive thing to say to a person. That's such a dangerous thing. You guys don't understand. You're ignorant. You've not seen the effect. You've not been around. You've not had my experience. You've not had the thousands and thousands of interactions that I've had. You've not had the festival experience of meeting people in real life. You've seen people on YouTube. I've met the thousands of people in real life. I've met the leaders, I've worked with them, I've been with them backstage, been in their houses, spent time with them. I know on a level that you guys don't know. And I've seen what happens to people when they go down certain paths. You don't. You've been on YouTube and you've watched people, like, you don't want to interact with people in real life and learn truth. You want to hide away somewhere and make believe on online forums that you know something. So you'll talk to people about deficiencies and getting blood tested, and you're making up shit, and you don't know how dangerous it is. You don't understand. It's the paths that people go down. And when people start to believe that their diet is deficient, they start to think everything in their life is going to be solved by getting enough of a certain nutrient. And they go down this, some people, not everyone, some people go down this crazy path of wasting years of their life trying to figure out how to boost their nutrition in this way and that way. It leads people towards much less healthy diets, leads people towards trying all sorts of weird practices, and leads people towards weird thinking patterns that leads some people to real harm. You guys haven't seen that because you've just been online commenting. You've not seen any of this stuff. You've not met people in real life who are doing this. You've not met thousands, had all these interactions and met all these people and seen it happen in the real world. You've not. So you want to make comments about this topic, but you don't have the experience. And then you think, oh, Ronnie, you should listen to this. This person's a doctor. The doctors I've met in the raw food movement, I can think of 2 of them, medical doctors. I'm trying to think if there's any more I've met. I've met 3. I've probably met more. There's some I've met that are pretty good in their information, right? But there's a couple I've met that they're not. There's one who, if she's watching this video, will think I'm talking about her, but I'm not talking about her. But there's another few that are I'd say that are American. That'll help the other one not think it's about her. But there's American ones that have spoken at Woodstock and stuff. They've not got it yet. They don't understand it yet, and they're selling supplements, or they're preaching. Maybe not selling supplements, but they're preaching supplements because that's what they want to do. They want to have a medicinal answer, but they're not even doing the diet right properly. long term. They're telling other people you can't get enough this, you can't get enough that on the diet. It's all rubbish. So I've not been impressed by what some of doctors, the sciencey people have said. I've been super unimpressed a lot of the time. Once again, you've not been there, you've not been at the talks, you've not been at the discussions, you've not seen the conversations, you've not seen the behind the scenes, the long term. You guys haven't seen that. You guys don't know. So you think these people that present themselves scientifically and all that, the science gurus, you think they really know. You think they've got it and they've got it down perfect. I hate to say it to you, but often the people that really have this right are not the sciencey people. Really, really not. So that's my little talk for the day on supplements. It's dangerous, by the way, to be recommending supplements, telling people to take supplements, telling people to get blood tests. Taking a blood test is probably one of the great wastes of your time, unless it's under medical supervision and for a particular medical reason that your doctor. But if you go into the doctor and say, I'm feeling pretty good, maybe a bit tired, oh, should I get a blood test? They'd be like, why are you getting a blood test? You've not got any symptoms of particular ill health. Oh, because I'm an insecure person that's looked at a video and someone told me to take a blood test. Oh, I think I'm losing my memory. I forgot where my keys were yesterday. I maybe I've got a B12 problem. I'm feeling a twinge in my fingers. I mean, I was working all day with my fingers, but I'm feeling something there. I went for a really long walk and now my feet are a bit sore. Maybe that's B12. Like, it's not B12, people. Right? Probably not. So but it is something, if you have any concerns, you shouldn't really. You can speak to a doctor about it if you have legitimate concerns. There are some people that can't produce certain, there are people that have genetic things, but you would have known that from a young age, most likely. So that's my little rant for the day. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you want to get some coaching with me, I'll try and put a link below, and see you soon.